Hey y'all, hey, I'm back with another video. So, today we are here to talk about Jassi from the Real Housewives of Potomac and how do you say her name? Charlysa from which is her fiance's ex slash the mother of his children, and the back and forth around this. So, if you don't know, there is a new person. Now she doesn't like hold a what is it, a flute? It used to be a peach, but she oh no, sorry, that's Atlanta. So she's on the Real Housewives of Potomac as a friend. And one of the things that's kind of been going on, especially like behind the scenes, and even they brought it up on camera, is her timeline around her boyfriend or fiance, excuse me. The timelines don't add up to people because she said that she had a fiance and that he had two kids. But the ages was like, I want to say like 4 or 5 and like a year and some change, which is very confusing to people. So Jassi has told many different stories on the timeline of this relationship. And so there's been some things. So one of the first people to really like call it out outside of the show would be ColorMePynk. Shout out to Keisha, ColorMePynk. Please go check out her channel. And she did, a video kind of saying how the timeline didn't really make sense. I guess Jassi must have felt some type of way and left a really long comment on her video about that. We'll get back to that in a second. Also, on the neighborhood talk, we had some pictures drop from the mother of her fiance's children, pretty much of pictures of their whole family and like matching Christmas outfits and things like that. And that was December of 2023. And we're in 2024. Now on the show, Jassi says that she's been dating him for a couple of years. So if you've been dating him for a couple of years, but he has a kid that's like 2 years old or a year and some change, and then last year he was taking pictures with said family, it would lead one to believe that you are a side chick. And that's just very confusing to the public. So 2 interviews have come out within the past 2 days. We have ColorMePynk, Keisha. She did an interview yesterday that came out with Charlysa, which is, again, Jassi's ex-fiance. Fiance's ex, excuse me. And so she did an interview, and then today an interview came out with Carlos King and Jassi, and the husband was, or the fiance was in that too. So I listened to both, and and before I really get into the details of everything, the 2 things I walked away with, a few things I walked away with, is number one, Jassi is a liar. Jassi is not telling the full truth. Jassi is telling half of the truth is the problem. I think maybe she doesn't consider herself lying because some of the things that Jassi said and some of the things that Charlysa said, they do line up. They line up correctly. And some of the timelines do timeline correctly. But there's a lot of this stuff that Jassi's just lying about, and she's not being very honest. And she's not being very honest at all. I also would like to say that both ladies, both of y'all have accepted the bare minimum. And it's really sad. It's really sad. Charlysa said that she's dating somebody new. I hope so, hun. I hope whoever this person is that you're sticking with him, because you just said in this interview that the last time that you had sex with this man was in April of this year. May of this year. When you knew he was in a relationship with her now. So what I did walk away with this is and I don't think, one thing I will give Charlysa is that it doesn't seem like she was trying to be like trying to play victim, like, oh, like, she broke up my home or whatever. She didn't come off like that. She did not come off like that. I will give you that. I think she was just more so coming off like, I just want to clarify, like, some things. But those are the 2 things I really came away with, is that Jassi's a liar, and like Both of y'all really truly deserve better. Y'all don't have to put up with this nonsense. Y'all really, really don't. So let's go to ColorMePynk's one first. And I'm gonna weave in and out Carlos King's interview too, because I want to talk about a lot of the contradictions. So the timeline is what's most important. So I'm gonna go over the timeline. Let's start off with Charlysa's timeline. She says that she met Darius in 2020, so during the pandemic. And they met in June of 2020. They made it official in December of 2020. And by January, so literally the next month, by January of 2021, she was already pregnant. Now, she said that, that she understood, like maybe while like his family might not like her, which kind of leans into, some of the things that I feel like Jassi said about his family later. She said, we did just meet and I got pregnant really fast. I got pregnant pretty much 6 months within meeting him. So I could see why, somebody didn't like him. They both did say, both Jassi and Charlysa, their story adds up when she says that when she was pregnant, she asked Darius, hey, if you don't want to be a part of this, you don't have to, but if you want to leave, that's perfectly fine. And then Darius said he wanted to be part of the child's life. Now, you could interpret that as him saying either A, I just want to be part of the child's life, or B, you could interpret it as Charlysa, because Charlysa said, he said, no, I want to do this thing together. Versus Jassi is saying Darius was like, no, I was saying I want to be in my kid's life. I think it's bullshit on both sides. I think Darius absolutely meant like he wanted to try to be a family. I absolutely believe that. He's saying that to appease his fiance, and that's perfectly fine. But I think that's bullshit. I think that's exactly what he told her. So one thing that Charlysa did admit to, she said that there was a lot of infidelity. A lot, right? A lot. So she said, even to the point where she kind of expected it. She kind of expected it. So that's why I feel like it doesn't seem like she has any anger really towards Jassi, because it's like, this nigga is for the streets. And I know that. And I think maybe that's the problem. If Jassi would just be able to admit and say, you want to know what? My man is actually for the streets. And he was out here doing whatever. However, I don't know. He probably was telling his baby mama that they was trying to work it out. But he was out in these streets. That's why I feel like his ex doesn't has as much like vitriol, it seems. It seems like she feels like, man, it is what it is. Yes, he was telling me that he wanted to be in a relationship with me, but in all seriousness, I knew that man was out there doing whatever it is that he wanted to do. That's the energy that she gives me. That's just the energy that she gave me. And so, so then she talks about, how, then, she got pregnant, I believe in 2022, she got pregnant, and then, they had the baby. I think, they had the baby, all that other stuff. It's just pretty much been a lot of back and forth, is from my understanding from his ex's perspective. Now, Jassi's perspective is this. She says that her and Darius met in 2022, right? Okay. So, and Keisha specifically asked Charlysa, from the time y'all got official in December of 2020 until y'all broke up in pretty much 2024, were y'all in a relationship that whole time? And she says yes. Now, again, if I'm really listening to everything that she says, I don't think that that's true. I don't think that they were in a consistent relationship. I think they were probably doing that on and off shit, that baby mama, baby daddy stuff, because she even said at one point in this interview, when she talked to Jassi on the phone, and Jassi was like, oh, when I met Darius, Cruz was like 7 months old. And she said, yeah, that makes sense to me, because that was around the time that we weren't together. So to me, No, I don't believe. To me, it kind of contradicts when she says they were together the whole time. No, y'all probably weren't. Y'all probably were very much so on and off. Now, do I believe that Darius was probably telling his ex, like, yeah, I want to try to make this work? It's a typical baby mama, baby daddy situation. Like, I already know what it is. They're playing regular hood booger games. This ain't nothing new. Ain't nothing new. But anyway, Jassi says she met Darius in 2022, but she kept emphasizing that she was not in a relationship with him during this time, that she was only talking to him, and that they didn't really start to get serious until February of 2023. And I think the reason that she's emphasizing that is because in 2022, that's when the mother of his child was pregnant with their second child. So I think she's saying that so that there's no overcross. But the point of the matter is that whether or not y'all was physically in front of each other, you was messing around with that man when he had another woman pregnant. Now, whether or not you knew that is something different. But that is a fact. You were messing around with him when his girlfriend was pregnant, or whatever the hell she was to him. That's just a fact. Now, again, whether or not you knew that, it's whatever. Which she did kind of take accountability at the end that he lied to her face. And it's like, girl, if that's what you want to accept. Anyway, so then she talks about how in January, of 2023, she was like, that's when he flies me out to Paris, first class, Air France. I'm like, girl, okay, so you're one of those. Jassi kept trying to emphasize like shit that's supposed to be, I guess, like, I don't know, high class or rich or some shit like that. Like she tries to put off. And throughout this whole interview with Carlos, it was really off-putting because it's like, oh, girl, okay, I see your type. Because to be like so fucking impressed by first-class tickets to Paris, and Carlos is like, oh, those are $10,000 a pop. No shade, but with my corporate job, I can do that within a year. Like, that's not, you bitches be impressed by the bare fucking minimum. Like, she was so impressed by first-class tickets to Paris. Like, girl, step your cookies up, hun. Step your cookies up. Way too impressed by that. That shit killed me. Like, girl, if you make as much money as you say, you should have been able to do that on your own. On your own. Now, if you're saying we took a private jet, we took a private jet to the south of France. Now we talking a little some. Okay? That's the type of talk that we're talking about when we start to be impressed with niggas. But going to Paris first class, step your cookies up, bitch. Anyway, so then she says in February of 2023 is when they make it official. Okay? And then now this is the bullshit part to me. Now she says between February and all the way up until around April or May. Now she says around April or May is when he got dropped from his team. And she says around that time, he was acting really weird, seemed like he was going to maybe into like a depression. And so, it felt like, like they needed some time apart or something like that. So then she said at that point in time that they broke up and they stopped talking to each other. Okay, now Carlos asked, okay, so him and his ex, Darius and the mother of his children, have pictures then 6 months after y'all break up on Christmas of them having a nice little family time, and then New Year's of 2024 they're kissing in a video. But then for the Super Bowl, which is February 6th, which is pretty much about a month later, now y'all are there and y'all are a couple, and you want to try to tell us as the viewing audience that you didn't talk to him the rest of that year? You're full of shit. You're full. That's the part where she's lying to me. You did not stop talking to Darius in May and then literally popped up as his girlfriend 2 days before the Super Bowl. And y'all had, so he just out of the blue invited you and y'all hadn't talked that whole time. You're full of shit. You are full of shit, Jassi. What I believe is that you were absolutely talking to him during that time. I think you knew that he was staying with the mother of his child. Now, do I believe that he was probably telling you like, oh, it's nothing. Oh, I'm just doing what it is that I gotta do, for my kids, da 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 da. And especially she kept emphasizing, listen to the fact that she kept emphasizing that he kept saying, I don't know how I'm going to feed my children. So I think in her head, he probably was saying to her like, oh, I got to stay over here and I got to be up underneath them or whatever. But you really know what it is. It's really us. Da 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 da. And then, then she just end up getting back with him like in a more public way. I think she's a liar. I think you absolutely talked to him that whole time. Then she says that she found out about the second baby 2 days before the Super Bowl. So 2 days before the Super Bowl, he comes and he tells her pretty much like, I need to tell you that I have a second child with her. Pretty much because apparently, allegedly, Darius had asked if his kids could come to the game, but he wanted his mom to bring them. And his ex was pretty much like, no, like if they come or whatever, I'm coming too. So I guess because of that, he felt like he had to tell Jassi. So he told Jassi or whatever. And so Carlos was like, so what about that? Because Jassi was really trying to downplay it when Carlos was like, so he lied to your face. And she was like, but the gag is he didn't really lie because the baby was already here. The baby was already here. She's playing semantics because what she's saying is that when she was asking Darius, like, do you have anybody pregnant? Like, are you messing with anybody? Is anybody pregnant? And when he was saying no, he felt like he was being truthful because the baby like was already here. It's like, girl, are you fucking kidding me? Don't make excuses for that nigga. He lied. Period. If that's true, if I even believe that he told you 2 days before the Super Bowl, because I don't believe that either. I don't believe that. And we'll get to it. Either way, you're lying. You're lying, and we're going to get to why you're lying. I'm so tired of it, Jassi. You could have just told the truth. And so another part that really killed me is she kept emphasizing, oh, well, I was close with his family, and I'm chilling with the family, and I'm chilling with the family, and I'm chilling with the family. And how at the Super Bowl, apparently, she must have been sitting like in Charlysa's seat. And so when she came, she like got up or whatever. But she said that Darius' mom had told her before they got there, like, I know the mother of his child is coming, so, just chill out. But this is my thing. Number one, from what it sounds like his family doesn't even like her. So that doesn't seem that off that they would not, like, champion her for real like that. Secondly, stop saying, oh, I've been around his family, I've been around his mom, I've been around this. Do you know how many niggas' family members will entertain girl after girl after girl after girl and say nothing? Why do women feel like it's something special when a man introduces them to like their mom or something like that? Like it should be something special, but when I'm telling you, niggas' moms lie in women's faces all the time. Moms be meeting like 5 different girlfriends in a year. Stop thinking that means something. That is literally a trick for a lot of niggas that, oh, let me introduce her to my family. She gonna feel like something special. When a lot of times that's not what it is. So please, girl, Jassi, stop hanging your hat on the fact that you met his daggone family. It's just pure bullshit. But across the board, Jassi lied. And if we go to the comment, because this is another way, a couple of different ways that she lied. If we go back to the comment that she left underneath Keisha's post, so I'm gonna read like part of it. So she said, but I'm no home wrecker. It wasn't a home when I got involved. Not even last year when she was pregnant. She knows that they were not together. He was in Maryland and traveling overseas with me, hiding the fact that she was even pregnant he was traveling overseas with me, and he was hiding the fact that she was even pregnant from me. Then by January of 2024, when the baby came, he was paying child support for both children and not in a relationship with her. With her, when we got back together, trust he works very, very hard to get back with me. This is the thing. She said, by January of 2024, when the baby came, etc. He was paying child support for both children and not in a relationship with her when we got back together. Okay, so what you're saying is that in January, right, of 2024 of this year, y'all got back together. And you also said that, trust, he worked really, really hard to get me back. So if he had to work hard to get you back, wouldn't that mean that between April and May of 2023 in the end of the year that he would have still been in contact with you, which is what everybody has been saying? If he had to work hard to get you, that means there's conversation, there's things that's happening. Meaning in December of 2023, when he's taking those pictures, in January, at the top of January of 2024, when he's kissing this woman, you are still in contact with this man. It's trash, Jassi. It's trash. And how was he trying to win you back during that whole time frame? And then literally a couple of days before y'all get back together, he's literally slobbing down his ex. Jassi, just say that your nigga ain't shit. And just say that you was talking to this man when he was with his baby mom. It's okay. It's okay. But all of this lying is insanity. And you made yourself look even more crazy. And the reason like I said, I at least respect his ex is because at least she said, I expected it. Now, what I don't like that his ex kept saying was like, oh, like pretty much like if I wanted him that I could have him, like, don't be that girl. You said you got a man or whatever, focus on that. But you part of the problem too if you're saying that you just had sex with him in April and May. But then you just also said that he just told you that he's engaged to this lady, but you're still fooling around with him. So his ex, you're playing a part in it too. But like I said, what I will say is that it doesn't seem like she has a lot of like malice or anything on her heart, because it seems like she knows that this nigga's going to be a nigga. She ain't trying to tell him up like she is, oh, my husband's so respectful and he's just so this and he's so that. No, your husband's for the streets, Jassi. Your husband is for the streets. The streets, sis, the streets, and it's unfortunate. But you lying behind him, you look bad. So to wrap this all up, our question was, were you talking to Darius when he was indeed in a relationship with the mother of his children? And the answer after everything is absolutely. And you told on yourself. You told on yourself. And then for her to tell you, she said, his ex said in June, this year of June, when she was talking to her, she told her that they had just had sex in April and May. I believe that the Real Housewives of Potomac start to film in like, I think, what does it say, like April of 2024? So when you're touting this man, when you're bringing this man onto this show in April of 2024 and telling him around as your fiance, he's still fucking his BM. Do you hear it? This man's playing reindeer ass games, Jassi, and you're allowing him to, and it's very sad, and you're going out looking crazy just because you want to have a bench warming. That's the thing. Well, oh my gosh, what did Drake say? He's not even a starting QB. He just on the field playing. Like, what are we talking about? What are we talking? You're talking about a man who got a Super Bowl participation ring. Like, literally did nothing but kept the bench warm. That's all he did. And you're crashing out behind that? A man who was clearly need hooked on phonics? Do better. Shout out to ColorMePynk, because she ate that. She ate that right on up. And like I said, Charlysa, down. You came for her. That red bottom gonna stay on that neck, Jassi. You messed with the wrong person. That red bottom gonna stay on your neck, and the face gonna be beat too. And the face gonna be beat at the same time. Jassi, you be lying.